Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Yeah, it was pretty quiet in here. All right, let's get this thing started. Hello, everybody. Good damn morning. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight, and welcome to the P-Dog Knight channel. Yes, I did not have the music going during the pre-intro. Sorry, sorry to make you wait in the quiet. But I'm here now. It is Thursday, the 21st of March, 2024. And there was a big old hearing at the House of Representatives, some committee oversight or something committee or impeachment inquiry. I don't know what the hell it was. Impeachment inquiry, something like that. And everyone's putting up their favorite clips, both in the left and the right. So we'll look at some of those. And then we'll do just the regular news thing. Lots of things trending, people talking about lots of stuff. Hope you're ready. Good morning. And let's get it started by saying hi to everybody like I always do. So let's just put my face on the screen and say first over on Rumble, hi to Avocados Diablo, who gets the bell because you're first, and your theme song because I remember to play it. And also good morning to Phantom Dog Fart, the greatest name on the internet. And if you're watching a Rumble, there's some of you there, so just put a little hi in the chat and I'll be happy and I'll say hi back and all that shit. All right, over on YouTube, first in chat, it is also Avocados Diablo gets the bell. Also, good morning to Kara Soldier, Zed the Snarky, Tyler F., Aaron Meredith, good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg. Tribute Liberty, what's up, my brother? Good morning. Soundable Nations in the house. Simon Wolfwood, Unacceptable Views. TC is here. Hello, hello. Good morning also. Jimmy Das Hotep from Hotep Nation. Good morning also to, well, is there anybody? Patio Furniture in the house. I already said that, right? No, but I said it again if I didn't already. And Gunfox61, the awesome administrator of the P-Dog Knight Discord server. So that information will pop up in the chat if you want to follow over there too. Usually there's tons of news. Gunfox posts a lot of news over there, and some other of you are in there posting memes and stuff. And then there's also, if you missed the show, I put links to the show in there. And also I'm trying to figure out how many use Discord and locals both. But I do want to do some exclusive stuff in both those spaces. Also, I'm thinking of opening up memberships on YouTube. Wait, join what? Join what? Do I already have memberships? Oh no, that's on Rumble. There's on YouTube. I'm thinking of doing the membership thing because I'd like to just have a way for you to just set it and forget it. You know what I mean? You can just drop a deuce or whatever, join the channel, and I'll have some perks for that somehow. I'll do some exclusive live streams on YouTube, I guess, with that. I was going to do that on locals. Well, maybe I'll let you decide. Maybe it'd be smarter for me to do something like that on locals. I want you to just help me determine what you would like to see from this channel, and then we'll determine that. So I'll probably put a DM, not a DM, whatever, a community post on YouTube, and figure that out. And then we'll do that. Also, good morning. Hey, my favorite Canadian Jaeger ponies in the house. Good morning. And we have our first sponsor of the day, Gunfox61. You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Oh, there we go. Dropping a Hamilton in the tip jar. You are now the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day so far. And I didn't reset the daily goal. We're going to do this on daily. I'm going to set my goal. Where the hell is that though? What did I do that? Oh no, that's not there. What am I doing? That was stupid. Let's do our set our donation goal for the day. This one's done. Okay, that's ended. And then this one is daily donation goal. If you can help me hit this, that'd be awesome, because I'm well, I don't have to explain it. It's just how it is. And what's the date? 03, ending 03. 2224. There we go. We reset the donation goal. And we're already at $10. So there you go. That's we're 1/5 of the way there. Thank you, Gunfox. And another one. You are still the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, Gunfox. The first one says, let's kick this off. My God, I have 50, 60 tabs open, but I am going to prioritize. I just opened the first one and the headline is hilarious. It is freaking hilarious. That's a funny headline. Yeah, we're gonna definitely hit that one. And then the second one says, will your brain make it? Okay. It's a MSNBC article. Thank you for dropping the Hamiltons in the tip jar. We're 2/5 of the way there, guys, for our daily donation goal. So let's try to hit that. And I'll be a happier man every day. So, and then welcome. TC's over on Rumble too. I see ya. So anyway, oh gosh, I like, wait a minute. But GOP hearing was somehow worse than the first. Oh, yes. Okay. Well, that is a big topic today. So we are, and let's see, I'll move that over to by Lev Parnas, because we're going to talk about, look, there's competing narratives on the hearings from yesterday, and I'm going to show you them both, and I'll let you make your decisions. I'm not going to, try to, I know which side I favor, but I think, personally, I think the whole impeachment inquiry and this whole impeachment, even the inquiry is a waste of time. But I'm good with that, because the more time they do on this kind of stuff, the less time they're spending more of our money. So I even though I think it's it's a futile act of what they're doing right now, it is what it is. And fine, take up time doing this stuff, and and look, the way they did it for Trump was just to hurt him politically. Well, the GOP's, I don't necessarily, I think they're doing it to hurt Biden, and again, that's. I think it's some petty stuff, even though he may well have, certainly it's obvious his family profited greatly from his political career of over 50 years. Okay. And the idea that he wasn't getting any kickbacks for that is improbable. It just, I don't believe it. But, and the fact that even if they do somehow eke out an impeachment of President Biden, it's going nowhere in the Senate. Hell, they can barely get Alejandro Mayorkas in the impeachment, hamster wheel. The hamster wheel that has to go to get him impeached? That hamster wheel ain't moving because there's no hamster on the wheel yet, even though they set it over there. So, but fine, take all the time you want. Don't do anything. And again, my whole theory on how the government should work in this country right now, the way things are in Washington, I think they should be required to spend one of every 4 years, they should do nothing but repeal stupid laws. That's what I think they should do. Just no bills, no extra spending. Set your spending at once, set it, forget it, and then spend an entire year just repealing all the bullshit. There's a whole lot of bullshit they could repeal. Dumb stuff. Anyway, so let's get into the show, because now I've wasted a lot of time talking about that. So, by the way, thank you to my friends here who have tweeted out the show. By the way, share the show. Well, hey, why don't I share the show? Oh, I did share the show. Okay, good. But thank you, Somnambule Nation, TC, Jimmy Das Hotep, and Tyler F. And who's this? Oh, Swamp Fox Ghost. And this is Mike Savage Blarg. Thank you for retweeting my tweet of the show, or just share the show on social media. Hit the like button, and it's PDogNight.live. You could be the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Right now, it's only at $20. So, you could beat that. But you don't have to beat that. We're just trying to get to $50 for today. So we're getting there. We're getting close. What is that? That says, sorry, I'm looking, I have my monitors right there, and then I have a monitor right there. And so sometimes I have to look at this monitor, and then sometimes I have to look at this monitor. I'm just, old guy eyesight. All right, let's go. Let's do it. Let's do this thing. Let's talk about what's happening in the trending topics. Now, we always have a special day. And this one, I'm not going to make any jokes. But it is. Okay, I'm going to try not to. It's Randy Monkey and Jack Cochran's favorite holiday. If you're not familiar with Randy Monkey and Jack Cochran, they're friends, internet friends of mine. It's World Down Syndrome Day. So, and I don't want to be said, you know, there's well, here we go. Let's see. Is there anyone saying anything remotely interesting about World Down Syndrome Day? For World Down Syndrome Day, I'm sharing my Maggie. Okay, I don't need. Oh, wait, hang on. Is there any like a place that does a message? I see a lot of people posting pictures of their children, and look, you know, I think Down syndrome is something that I don't know if they're ever going to be able to stop it, but they're just people, right? They're just people who've had a developmental anomaly that has caused their, you know, the brain development, sometimes often physical development, to, you know, to be different. But they're just human. And here's the thing, and I say this a lot about when you're getting into the trans argument, they start talking about, well, sex is a spectrum, because they say, well, there are some people who are intersex and they have a, no. That's also a developmental anomaly, just like Down syndrome. And it has nothing to do with sex being a spectrum, because sex is based on reproductive capability, whether you're capable of it or not, but whether you have the, you know, the development is. And I don't know, Down syndrome people just they need help, and there are a lot of really wonderful people who take care of people with Down syndrome. Here it is. Here's one. Tim Tebow Foundation. Tim Tebow's a good man. He says, today is World Down Syndrome Day. Our friends with Down syndrome are special to us today and every day. And then he put a Psalm 139:14. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. So that's a good message for World Down Syndrome Day. So, you know, it's just an awareness thing. Thank you for whoever made that up, but there you go. All right. You can stop it. Iceland did. Ooh. Yeah, didn't they, what did they do? I'm not going there. For some reason, Mount Everest is trending, and I think it's because someone posted these beautiful pictures from the peak of Mount Everest. Someone took some video up there, and there's also another dude up here who flew a drone from the top of Mount Everest, and this is actually pretty cool. Well, here, so they took this drone and they got some drone footage they went to the top of Mount Everest, and then they flew a drone from the top of Mount Everest to be able to film themselves. So that's pretty freaking cool, actually. But there's no other reason that it's trending, though. But look at that. I mean, these guys made it to the top of Mount Everest, and there they are, flying a drone over the tops of the mountains. So that's pretty damn cool. But other than that, there's no specific reason Mount Everest is trending. As people saw these pictures, and everyone's reposting it, so that's cool. All right, let me come back to my face, because we have another sponsor. Thank you, Avocados Diabli, dropping the big bullet in the tip jar. Oh my God. Give me a second. Just a second. Hey, Jeff. Yeah. This comment. Yeah. I'll be okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye. All right, after consulting with my lawyer, he says, go ahead and read it. Avocados Diabli with the big bullet says you can end Down syndrome. Iceland did it. Snip, snip, vacuum noise.
Your life makes me sad.
Thank you for sponsoring the show. Avocados Diabli. Holy shit, man. Holy shit. Holy shit. Moving on. Also trending is Mississippi. Now, in Mississippi is trending mainly because of this case in Mississippi that is not a good thing. What? Why, when police officers are exposed to the racist abuse against African Americans, you never see politicians across the board stand up and condemn it? Mississippi racial. No, first of all, I can't believe this case hasn't gotten more attention. So there's a case in Mississippi where there's this squad of, is a white supremacist outfit in Mississippi specialized in brutalizing African American men. These officers, they were in Mississippi. Former Rankin County deputy Mississippi Goon Squad case just got sentenced to 40 years in prison. Their heinous beating and sexual assault, torture of 2 black men goes beyond the pale, and those monsters deserve severe sentences. No, none of the men convicted of atrocities were immigrants from south of the border. Well, that's because this is Brooklyn Dad Defiant, who's got to make a political point about it. Fuck these guys, these police officers. I'm trying to find another story. Meanwhile, they passed a bill. Oh, no, that's Alabama. Never mind. Here it is. Police officer in Mississippi sent to prison for torturing and kidnapping African-American men. When we talked about racism in the justice system, we're not making it up. Well, no one says they're making it up. Yes, there are some fucking terrible people in the world, and these guys deserve every moment of jail time they're getting. Here's a
case that made national headlines, a horrific racial attack in Mississippi. Tonight, 2 former deputies sentenced. Part of a group of white officers accused of torturing 2 black men, shooting one of them and beating them. Tonight, one of those officers getting 20 years in prison. Today, the judge calling the crimes, quote, egregious and despicable. Here's ABC's Faith Abube.
Tonight, 2 former Mississippi Sheriff's deputies sentenced for their role in the brutal and racially motivated torture of 2 black men. Deputy Hunter Elward getting 20 years. Lieutenant Jeffrey Middleton sentenced to 17.5 years. There are 2 of 6 officers who have pleaded guilty to federal felony charges. According to court documents, the officers part of a group nicknamed the Goon Squad because of their willingness to use excessive force and not report it.
This Goon Squad has been operating without supervision.
In January of last year, the Goon Squad bursting into this home without a warrant after a white neighbor reported several black males for suspicious behavior. Michael Jenkins and Eddie Parker placed under arrest in their own home without any evidence of a crime. Prosecutors say the officers then repeatedly tased the 2 men, calling them racial slurs, beating them, and even sexually assaulting them over the course of 90 minutes. Deputy Elward shooting Jenkins in the mouth, execution style, nearly killing him. As he lay there bleeding, investigators say the 6 officers conspired to cover up their actions, even planting drugs and a gun.
Can you imagine the abject terror those 2 victims must have felt?
Today, Elward apologizing to the victims.
I don't know the answer to that question, AD. Was it racial motive, or were they just assholes who thought the badge gave them leave to abuse people as they felt? I don't know. Either way, fuck those guys, and hope that, I don't necessarily believe in retaliatory justice, but they probably will get their ass whooped in prison. But fuck them. Here's the rest. Here, let's finish this.
Eddie Parker saying he still suffers.
What's done already, man, can't be erased, man, can't be taken back. I relive this every day.
And David, the rest of the officers will be sentenced tomorrow and on Thursday. All 6 are facing additional sentencing on state charges at a later date. David.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I think they got 40 years in state charges. The federal charges were 17 and 20. And FTG, to hell with them. To hell with them. You know. Good morning, Anon 123123. Roasted opinions and Lord State. I hope I said it already. So. Anyway, that's one of the reasons Mississippi's trending. That's the main one. That's the article that's getting put up the most. So to hold them. University of Memphis is trending. Now, yesterday, remember we talked about Kyle Rittenhouse apparently being at a TPUSA event at the University of Memphis. And, well, it turned into a shit show post the event. Chaos broke out at... hang on a second. Chaos breaks out at the University of Memphis after BLM protesters chased down TPUSA people who were leaving the Kyle Rittenhouse event. Police had to prevent the hostile crowd from physically attacking them. The angry BLM crowd tried to prevent TPUSA from leaving the parking garage at the University of Memphis. Campus and state police had to push the crowd back and allow the cars to leave. Some protesters spat on the vehicles. And then someone who says, support my work. Their mantra was murderers don't belong here. I didn't realize I didn't have the screen. So yeah, it turned into what you would expect it to, because some college people and uninformed people still think that Kyle Rittenhouse murdered two black people, which he did not. He was acquitted on self-defense. This is going to happen probably on any campus that Kyle Rittenhouse speaks. Black Lives Matter protesters are back in vogue, it seems. Here they are mobbing attendees at a Kyle Rittenhouse did nothing wrong event at the University of Memphis. So there's, let's see, on the ground in Memphis, protesters at Kyle Rittenhouse event at the University of Memphis are holding signs honoring Joseph Rosenbaum, Anthony Huber, and Gage Grosskreutz, the people that Rittenhouse shot in self-defense. Really? Do they have any idea who these people are? Now, Gage Grosskreutz, yeah, he's a shitbag, but he's not as bad as the other two, especially Rosenbaum. They're acting like these guys are martyrs. The guy, oh my God. Well, that's what you'd expect in any of this kind of shit. So I don't know why I'm finding humor in that. It's sad. Anyway, so because of that, Kyle Rittenhouse is trending, and also Kenosha are trending. I don't necessarily need to go through those topics, but yeah, they're talking about go get him. So anyway, there you go. So that's why those things are trending. Moving on, also trending, Rubio is trending. Now, anytime someone's name gets floated as a possible running mate for Donald Trump, they make headlines. And apparently there are people who are saying, who knows who's saying it, but Marco Rubio, this person says Marco Rubio would be an awesome VP pick for Trump. Those two pathetic micropenis losers deserve each other. Perfect. Oh my God. That's a little harsh. Anyway, NBC. Now, this is a claim by NBC News. So, they're the king of sources say. NBC News claims Donald Trump is eyeing Senator Marco Rubio from Florida for vice president. Is that a good choice? Well, I don't think he can do that. I don't think he's going to choose anyone from Florida. One, because some people floated Ron DeSantis, who doesn't want to be Trump's vice president, I don't think. And plus, he lives in Florida. Right now, his residence is Florida. And for whatever reason, there's a rule that the president and vice president can't be from the same state. Now, that may be a soft rule, for all I know. But nobody thinks it's actually going to be Marco Rubio. I think it would be just a dumb choice, personally. But let's see. Rich Paris, the People's Pundit, useful idiot. Let me translate this for you all. Donors give me money. Voters don't worry about. Okay, voters don't worry. I ain't doing that shit. I only leak to people like Dasha to get more donor money. Oh, I see. So anyway, NBC just put out an article claiming Trump is eyeing Senator Marco Rubio as a potential vice president. Firstly, this is like the 20th person the media have claimed is Trump's front runner for VP. These people have absolutely no idea. True. Secondly, Rubio is a rat. People forget. People forget, but Rubio is one who asked Victoria Nuland the infamous question about the biolabs in Ukraine that caused quite a stir. He was not trying to grill her. He was trying to give her a softball to blame the Russians for any biological activity that comes out of that part of the world. Then 2 days later, on March 10th, 2022, he tried to clean up the mess that made it another hearing, in another hearing with DNI Avril Haines and CI Director William Burns. He asked them to clarify about the U.S.-funded biolabs in Ukraine, stating that the media and the fact-checkers lied about the existence of these labs, and he is concerned about people in the information space latching on to the subject, meaning me and others who were vocal about the labs and the media cover-up. Rubio has been trying to run cover for the biolabs in Ukraine from the jump. I'm not sure what his role in all of this is, but he screams the loudest. So anyway, yeah, no, and with a capital H in hell, no. No, please. God, no. I need that Michael, what's his name from the Office clip. No. That clip, because that's what I think of Rubio. Anyway, Trump Tower is also trending. Obviously, Letitia James is still trying to go after it. And there's so many stupid people who talk about this. But as I scrolled down this, I noticed this one. If Trump sells his Trump Tower to pay his bond, then never leave and run his business as normal to become a super squatter, that would be amazing, because there's that story about the woman who got arrested for trying to get rid of squatters out of her house. They arrested her. Chicago Ray, all Trump has to do is file bankruptcy on Trump Tower, and then and a trustee is assigned, keeping Letitia James the fuck away from it. Well, I don't know if that's a good idea either. But here is Alina Habas, who is probably going to mirror what I said on
going
this.
To make some modifications to this.
Stop. Yeah, let's go. Let's listen to Miss Habas, who is just awful to look at. I got to tell you, I just can't do. I don't know how anyone can look at this woman and go, ugh. But we'll look at her anyway, because it's part of my job.
Alina, good to have you with us. Thank you for being here today. Tell me a little bit about where you are in this process, because in terms of the appeals happening, or the appeals court deciding, the appellate division deciding that perhaps they're going to make some modifications to this judgment.
Yeah, okay, and that's the thing, because this judgment is unprecedented. And the idea, because people are making fun of Trump, oh, he's not really a billionaire because he can't come out with $454 million. And it's like, well, first of all, there's not a single bond country in the country that can even run a 10% bond. That'd be a $45 million bond. There's no bond companies that can do that, and they've barred him from securing money. Using his properties as collateral from banks that do business in New York. So there's really nowhere Trump can go to get this type of a bond. Because, even and it's funny because Lawrence Tribe, the Harvard law professor who's dumber than snot and a complete partisan idiot. Well, he's not dumber than snot. He's smart, but he's a partisan. Like he said that the Colorado Supreme Court case would be constitutional because, well, they're following the Constitution, insurrection, right? And then it turns out that I was right and he was completely wrong, and he was wrong 9-0. Anyway, he was saying that he's one of these guys who supposedly who wanted bond reform in the first place and didn't like the New York law, but oh no, it's Donald Trump. So now he's saying that, well, he should have to pay that bond before he can appeal this case, because you should have to pay money in order to do the legal process. But anyway, let's listen to Alina Habas, because I left her with one eye closed there and it doesn't look very attractive. So let's try this again. It's hard to look at Alina Habas, but I'm going to do my best and try to get through this with and just the visual is very difficult on my eyes. But I'm going to, as a professional, well, actually an amateur professional journalist, I'm going to continue to look at Alina Habas as she speaks.
Right. Well, our argument in front of the appellate division is that forcing him to sell prized properties such as Trump Tower, iconic properties like 40 Wall Street, to pursue his appeal is manifest injustice, and it deprives him of that due process that we are all entitled to.
I said that yesterday.
So imagine, you can't reverse selling off Trump Tower
That's
on a
what I said
fire sale at
yesterday.
a discounted price. We can't fix that if we win on an appeal. So it's complete injustice.
Yeah.
And only a handful of sureties, as we stated, are approved by the United States Department of Treasury
And
to
none
even
of them-
underwrite bonds of this size.
None of them can
so
do it.
of those, even those very limited handful amounts, they're limited to policies with even single bonds up to maybe 100 million. None of them accept hard assets. They require cash or cash equivalents, such as marketable securities. The ask of Judge Engoron is completely ridiculous. He knew that.
He
or
knew
if
it.
he didn't know that, then he should have educated himself on it.
Oh, God,
But it
Fox,
is
I'm sorry. I'm going to get to your
intentionally
article,
to interfere
though.
in the election,
Have a good day,
to
sir.
hurt President Trump, to...
All right. The rest of it is all the same stuff. But that's exactly what I said yesterday.
try and
Oops,
ruin...
Nope. Stop. All right. Back to, here, let's just go back to my face. Moving on, also trending because of that is, wait, what's this? Oh, that's the same. I have that as a separate link too, if you want to watch that on your own, because I know it's, I mean, look, I'm asking you to sacrifice. I'm going to ask you to make the sacrifice and watch the whole thing, even though you have to look at Elena Habas. I mean, it's really just, it's taxing. I got to be honest with you. And I don't mean like, you know, if Congress were in session, they were trying to tax you. So anyway, also trending is Tony Bobolinsky. Now, this is the main topic of the show today. We're going to talk about Tony Bobolinsky. And since Gunfox was so, wait, where's the article? Well, let's talk about the impeachment inquiry, and I'll go to Gunfox's article first, and then we'll talk about Tony Bobolinsky, because this is where this is what Gunfox sent me, and I think now this is an this is a take from, of course, MSNBC, and you know they are the greatest journalistic endeavor in the history of America, all times ever, and so we're going to listen to their take. Now they say that the GOP's second Biden impeachment hearing was somehow worse than the first. Wednesday's impeachment hearing in the House Oversight Committee managed to be somehow even less impressive and even more damaging to the Republicans' goal of bringing down President Joe Biden than the first impeachment. Now, wait a minute. Now, okay, let me just say this. Technically, an impeachment inquiry is not an attempt to take down a president, but maybe they're slightly accurate on that, but perhaps they just want to show the American people that the Bidens have kind of grifters, okay? Because they always used to call Trump a grifter, but Trump, when he was president, he lost money. Now, granted, Jared Kushner and whatever got the deal to invest $2 billion of Saudis' money, but that's it's not like they didn't give them $2 billion. They didn't just say, here, we like you, we're going to give you $2 billion. No, they gave him $2 billion to invest. It's not really Jared Kushner's money. But anyway, but in the Joe Biden case, it seems like the whole family's been profiting off of the political career of Joe Biden, and even though they don't, they won't charge him on the documents case because he's too old and feeble. This has been going on for years, so this is very important, especially when he was doing this while he was vice president, and not just when he was the senator, but when he was vice president. And his son and the brother and his daughter, everyone was getting money from getting checks from all these countries, China and Ukraine and. What was the other one? There was one other one in here, Belarus. I don't know, one of those countries over there. I don't know the names of all of them. But anyway, so this is MSNBC's take on this hearing, and I should probably go back to reading it. So anyway, but I don't go to take down the president. I don't know. Look, do you really want to take down the president when the alternative is right there to see and hear, aka Kamala Harris? Yeah, well, I don't know. Anyway, so back to the article. Republicans claim to have two witnesses who would finally rip the lid off this whole affair during Wednesday's hearing, luridly titled Influence Peddling, Examining Joe Biden's Abuse of Public Office. Chairman James Comer Republican from Kentucky, promised in his opening statement to show that Joe Biden has taken action after action to further his family's plans to get rich. That allegedly includes supporting efforts from his son, Hunter Biden, and his brother, Jim Biden, to capitalize on the family name. The president's son and brother have privately testified to the Oversight Committee, but apparently none of Hunter Biden's testimony nor any of Jim Biden's testimony was important enough for Republicans to include a 2-minute video claiming that Joe Biden is the Biden family business. Instead, Republicans played snippets from interviews Hunter Biden's former associates, Tony Bobulinski and Jason Galanis, that gave the committee. They also played a snippet of video from Devin Archer, another former business partner of Hunter Biden. Well, yeah, because I'm pretty sure if you just asked Joe Biden, hey, were you taking money from foreign governments while you're the president? I'm sure he's just going to say, well, of course I was. Here you go. Here's the handcuff me. No, he probably wouldn't say this. You got to get testimony from other witnesses. But anyway, rather than use Archer's testimony to the House Judiciary Committee, though, the Republicans relied on an interview he gave former Fox News host Tucker Carlson. The Republicans' decision not to use Archer's sworn testimony may have something to do with the fact that, according to that transcript, he undermined Comer's claim that then Vice President Biden acted corruptly to Hunter Biden's benefit in Ukraine. Archer declined the committee's invitation to testify at Wednesday's hearing. His lawyer told NBC News that Archer remains ready and willing to cooperate with the authorities in their legitimate investigations. Bobulinski and Galanis, unlike Archer, have claimed then Vice President Biden tried to corruptly use his office to enrich his family. Neither have yet offered any direct evidence to back up those claims, and Wednesday was no exception. Well, what do you want them to bring to a hearing on Capitol Hill? Do you want them to bring like a stack of notebooks or papers, signatures? What? Hello, Rodline. How you doing? So anyway, now Democrat, when they testified to the committee on Wednesday, Democrats led by Ranking Member Representative Jamie Raskin of Maryland pointed out the lack of credibility or value information they possess. Wow. I mean, they were there testifying what they did. What do you mean? Quote, and now, now. Let's see if MSNBC, no, they're not going to say it. Well, we'll show it to you later. And yeah, RICO is not a crime, Rod. Exactly. So then they must have known that highlighting Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, they just wanted to get this out of the way because people have been making fun of this all day yesterday. Quote, is your testimony today you witnessed the president commit a crime? Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat in New York, asked Bobulinski, whose past shadiness. Now see, MSNBC is disparaging the witness. So it's funny. That is, there's a name for that in logic. It's kind of ad hominem, but it's also, what is the term for that when you disparage the witness that what they were going to say as your there's a logical fallacy. Anyway, let's just do this. Whose past shadiness includes a weird 2020 meeting during a Trump campaign rally while wearing a ski mask. Yes, he answered, but was unable to specifically name a crime that he'd witnessed Biden commit. He did attempt to cite corruption statutes, RICO, and conspiracy, FARA, but again, provided no evidence to back up any of those allegations. So you got to hear the exchange. Meanwhile, Galanis gave testimony which also did not implicate Biden in any crime from a federal penitentiary. What? He gave his testimony from a federal penitentiary. He pleaded guilty to corruption charges in 2017 and in poisoning the well. Thank you, Ava Castellano. They could not remember it. So that's what when you're asking a question, but you poison it by already arguing something else and planting that seed. So it's called poisoning the well. Let's see. In his opening statement, he had been, he pleaded guilty to corruption charges in 2017, and in his opening statement, he alleged that he'd been denied home confinement in 2020 as part of a Biden administration plot to protect Hunter Biden. Cleverly, Democrats invited their witness Lev Parnas, a former associate of Rudy Giuliani. Giuliani was an attorney for then President Donald Trump, and Parnas was in on Giuliani's attempt to dig up dirt on Biden and Ukraine, Trump's attempt to strong-arm Ukraine and withhold military aid. Again, we're poisoning the well by you can't have an article without Trump did this, Trump did that. Withhold military aid unless it announced an investigation of Biden, eventually led to Trump's first impeachment. Absurdly, those same claims that Biden was the one who actually strong-armed Ukraine have made up the bulk of the GOP's impeachment investigation into the president. Republicans are pushing forward with this inquiry, even though the person who accused the president of such corruption was recently charged with lying to the FBI. And that, the FBI would never just try to make up some shit and whatever. They would never do that if their guy's in office anyway. Parnas was more than happy to remind everyone present that Trump had corruptly meddled with Ukrainian affairs to serve his own re-election campaign. No, it's funny. I didn't realize this hearing was about Donald Trump, but a lot of them spent a lot of time asking questions about Donald Trump during the hearing, which is what they do now. They ask questions, of things that Trump might be accused of. Did he do this? Well, no, that's Trump was accused of that. Did he do this? No, that was Trump. I didn't investigate. I had nothing to do with Trump. This has nothing to do with Trump. Why are you asking me questions that have nothing to do with Trump? Anyway, they didn't say that, but I was thinking that when they were asking him. Parnas, who was convicted in 2021 for campaign finance violations, was also keen to stress the origins of much of the muck he'd helped sling towards the Bidens. The only information ever pushed on the Bidens and Ukraine has come from one source and one source only: Russia and Russian agents. Oh, Russia. Parnas said the impeachment proceedings that bring us here now are predicated on a bunch of false information that is being spread by the Kremlin. Despite taking hours, Republicans produced nothing that either hadn't been aired before or didn't further undercut their argument that Biden had committed an impeachable offense. And that's the part I'm wondering, an impeachable offense during your presidency. Are they trying to impeach him for when he was vice president? See, that's the only part where I'm going, yeah, this is kind of a waste of time, if you're going to be honest about it, even though I think Biden's a shitbag. Anyway, the best thing that could be said about the hearing from a strategic standpoint for Republicans is that they can tell their base that their impeachment inquiry is still moving forward. It would be a true statement because, technically speaking, the inquiry isn't wrapping up immediately and because time is still progressing in a linear fashion. But the inquiry isn't getting any closer to connecting President Biden to an impeachable offense, even as it produces face plant after face plant for the GOP. So that's Hayes Brown's take it from MSNBC. Okay? So let's see what people are talking about regarding this. Now let's go back to the Tony Bobulinski thread here on X, the app formerly known as Twitter. And there's a lot of people talking about it. So we'll see a few things here. Representative Matt Gaetz says, the Democrats could have sent anyone to refute the direct evidence of Joe and Hunter Biden's corruption. Instead, they sent Lev Parnas, a man charged with enough campaign finance crimes to serve 50 years. Tony Bobulinski exposed the Biden crime family today. Interesting. Let's go to AOC, though, because AOC's, I want the exchange where she's asking him about about his, what do you call it, his involvement, or if he knows of them, of the Joe Biden committing any crimes. This is the one that everyone started talking about yesterday. I saw this RICO is not a crime, but I thought they were talking about the Trump case in Atlanta, in Georgia, right? Because they're trying to claim that Trump's election interference was a RICO charge. And so I thought, RICO's not a crime. Well, then why are they charging Donald Trump on a RICO charge? But this is where that phrase came from. Here we go. This is Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez questioning Mr. Tony Bobulinski.
I believe the fact that he was sitting with me while I was putting together a business deal.
Did you witness the president commit a crime? Is it your testimony today?
Yes.
And what crime have you witnessed?
How much time do I have to go through it?
It is simple. You name the crime. Did you watch him steal something?
Corruption statutes, RICO, and conspiracy.
What is it? What is the crime, sir?
Okay, so he named three. Like, he didn't say like the specific statute, but he named three things, right? And she's still, what is the crime?
You
Specifically.
You asked me to answer the question. I answered the question.
No.
RICO, you're obviously not familiar with. Corruption
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Here it is.
Excuse
Here
me,
it
sir.
is.
RICO is not a crime. It is a category. What is
No.
the
It's a category of crimes.
And that's why RICO is not a crime is trending. That's pretty funny, isn't it? I think it's funny.
That you're then charged.
You have charges.
A long 100.
You have charges. Sir, please
the
name
exact statute
Sir,
under RICO?
yes.
Well, it's funny. In this committee room, everyone's not here. There's over 18.
All right, sir.
Okay, so anyway, that was the heated exchange that, for some reason, MSNBC thought it was a good idea to highlight, and I question why they would want even anyone's attention to that. That is funny. So anyway, so other people talking about this. Glenn Greenwald said the reason it's vital to first mock and then ignore. Oh, he says he should mock and ignore Tony Bobulinski. Now that's interesting. He presented definitive evidence before the 2020 election that the reported documents on Hunter Biden's laptop were genuine. At the same time, the media was telling Americans it was Russian disinformation. So he's actually, that's vital for Democrats to do that because he was the first one to substantiate what was on that laptop. So here is Greg Price Oversight Committee hearing goes off the rails when Hunter Biden's former business partner, Tony Bobulinski, calls out Representative Jamie Raskin and Dan Goldman for lying on behalf of the Biden family. Now, this was another part of another part that a lot of people were talking about, and that's why Jamie Raskin was trending today, or is trending. Here's that exchange, or here's this part of his testimony that got a little heated in there because, so let me give you a little background. Congressmen in the House of Representatives it's against the rules to directly disparage another person in the House, right? You can say things, but you can't say mean things about your fellow congressman. I'll just keep it at that. You get what I mean. Hello, those ain't real, dude, by the way. But now the question is that the same for witnesses? And here we go.
Yet the same people preaching this mantra know better. They continue to lie directly to the American people without hesitation and remorse. Rep. Dan Goldman and Jamie Raskin, both lawyers, and Mr. Goldman, a former prosecutor with the SDNY from New York, will continue to lie today in this hearing and then go straight to the media to tell more lies. Hunter Biden's defense attorney, Abby Lowell, weaponizes letters to Congress to try to smear my name
Mr. Chairman.
Misstate the cold hard facts.
Mr. Chairman.
In an attempt to save his powerfully connected client and his father. I challenge Mr. Lowell to make those claims on national television so he can be held accountable for his lies. Prior to my successful business career, I was an officer in the United States Navy. At Navy's Elite Naval Nuclear Power Training Command, I later served as the command's chief technology officer.
Proceed. I apologize for the disruption from the...
Okay. Am I supposed to say it's my time, Mr. Raskin?
Yeah. But please, Mr. Bobulinski, please
Okay.
come to order. Mr. Bobulinski, please proceed.
Okay.
Please proceed. I apologize for the disruption from the minority.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Chairman, it saved his time, but he called members of this committee liars, and I just want to know whether the order and decorum requirements of House Rule 11 apply to witnesses appearing before the committee.
And they're going to check, and they're going to find out. Nope.
Does it apply or does it not?
Should I address? I don't.
There's decorum from the members. We've asked for that. There's no language that I'm aware of pertaining to a witness.
Thank you.
So
poor Jamie Raskin. You got called a liar by a witness. That's hilarious. So anyway, that's what happened there. Other clips. Let's see. Listen to how Tony Bobulinski details how he discovered Joe and Hunter Biden's business venture were really a bribe operation with the Chinese Communist Party. I'm not going to play all these clips. Some are too long. Let's see. Oh, watch Democrat Dan Goldman try to corner Tony Bobulinski, fails miserably. and desperately begs Chairman Comer to control the witness. So here's everyone's favorite shitbag, Dan Goldman. Okay, not everybody's, because there's other shitbags that are even worse. But Dan Goldman is one of the most demagogic of the members of the House, and he's very smug and he's very pleased with himself at how smart he is. Anyway.
You provided the committee with a screenshot of a text message that is between James Gilliard and you, dated May 11th, 2017. You see this? I don't know if you can see it. If you can't see, it's just you and James Gilliard, though, right? You remember this text message, I'm sure.
Generally, yes.
All right. And in it, Gilliard writes, "Man, you are right. Let's get the company set up, then tell H and family the high stakes and get Joe involved." And 2 days later, Mr. Gilliard sent an email to you, CCing Rob Walker and Hunter Biden, in which he suggested a division of the company and included a proposal of, quote, 10% held by H for the big guy, question mark. You remember that, right?
The infamous email with the big guy? Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Did anyone ever respond to that email?
Yes, they did, numerous times.
Sorry.
Hunter Biden himself did.
Excuse me. You're right.
Well, no, I think that's important because
Sir,
Hunter
did
Biden
anyone
has
ever
claimed that he didn't
Can you answer my
respond to it,
questions?
and he responded to it, I believe,
You're just
3
going to
times.
filibuster. I reclaim my time that's running out, but I...
Hello, Eternal. Welcome. Holding anyone accountable is just not a thing today. If it was damn near everyone in power would be in jail. Oh, I'm telling you, and that's on both sides of the aisle. Some of these fuckers, man, it's unbelievable. Look, all the inside trading that members of the House do, and that's not all of them, but Dan Goldman is one of the most prolific insider traders in the House now, and so is Nancy Pelosi. So there's a couple Republicans on that list too. I think. Isn't Eye Patch McCain one of the great financial prognosticators in the House too? I think he is. Anyway, I'd like them to stop that shit too. Anyway.
I will say, no one responded to the big guy reference for 10.
Thank you for making my point. They didn't have to respond because they all knew the big guy was Joe Biden.
I reclaim my time. Mr. Chairman, please control the witness.
Yeah, good luck. Control the witness, because he's testifying who the big guy is. Everyone knew who the big guy was. And poor Jamie Raskin's up there going, oh, we're getting killed on this one. So that's one. Now, look, not everything was all... Well, here, let's go back into this. So anyway, former Biden associate rips Democrat Representative Jamie Raskin, Daniel Goldman, in the hearing. We already saw that. Here, let me make that a little bit bigger there. There we go. Former Biden associate Toby Bobolinsky publicly confronted Democrat Oversight Committee ranking member Jamie Raskin and Representative Daniel Goldman on Wednesday, ripping them for lying about the Biden family business. Bobolinsky, while testifying during his opening statement before Wednesday's House impeachment inquiry hearing, slammed Raskin and Goldman for lying about Joe Biden's role in the Biden family business. Raskin and Goldman are aggressive defenders of Hunter, James, and President Joe Biden's involvement with the family business. We saw that exchange. In the Daily Wire, Biden impeachment president to get... Now, apparently they're going to invite President Biden to testify. Look, he doesn't have to. This is separation of powers. I know that it sounds great if you're on that side, which I tend to be, right? But it's not happening. I don't think Joe Biden... First of all, Joe Biden... Could you imagine? Could you imagine Joe Biden testifying for any amount of time, more than an hour, in front of a committee like this with the pepper? First of all, he can't concentrate that long, and he would say so many stupid shit things that you'd just be like, oh my God. That would completely expose him. But anyway, so that's not going to happen. RICO Act is trending. We know why, because straight out of brain cells. That is funny. Straight out of brain cells. We know why that's trending. Now, but let's see. And then we have the RICO is not a crime. I don't think we have to rehash that. That's also... There's an article about it in the Daily Caller. Jamie Raskin is also trending because of different exchanges. And now there's now let's go how the left sees this though. This ACN account, which is definitely pro-Democrat, wants to highlight what the other side thinks is important from this trial from this hearing. And so I'm fine. Let's look at what their side finds important. So this is, what did they say here? They said Raskin, Getz seems to be upset about fraud, which is fascinating given that his hero has just been convicted civilly of fraud in New York in a civil case. And now so he's, again, they're going to just over and over bring up Trump. So watch. Did he ask anything about this case when he's talking? Here's Jamie Raskin.
Yield to the ranking member for a brief closing statement.
Great, and I'll take an extra 32 seconds as Mr. Gates did. Well, and while we're on Mr. Gates, he seemed to be upset about a couple different things. One was fraud, which was fascinating to me, given that his hero, Donald Trump, has just been convicted civilly of bank and insurance fraud in New York in a civil case, and now owes, I think it's $454 million, unless that's gone up.
Now, the case is not over, because there's probably appeals pending somehow here. But it's so funny. This was their strategy with the lawfare. So they could be able to say stupid shit like this. They can say, that's why he got impeached. They could say he's been impeached 2 times on stupid impeachment charges. Anyway.
But with interest, I think he's having a hard time making that. But I'm sure that Mr. Gates' constituents will help him out as they're shaking down Republican voters. You can pay either for Donald Trump's...
So notice this has nothing to do with this hearing. And that's what the Democrats did a lot in this hearing.
Lawyers or civil lawyers, that's the big political choice, I suppose. He's also upset about China. Well, if you check out the Democrats' report, White House for Sale, how princes, prime ministers, and premiers paid off President Trump, you'll find that China actually gave more than $5 million to Donald Trump while he was president of the United States in direct violation of the emoluments clause.
Fascinating. Oh, you mean they stayed at hotels in Washington, D.C.? Oh, they gave Donald Trump $5 million. Yeah, the most prominent hotels around D.C. Trump happened to own, I guess.
Which says that nobody in federal office shall accept a present, an emolument, which means...
A present? Were they presents or was it... Yeah, it's all about Trump.
An office or title of any kind, whatever, from a king, a prince, or a foreign state. And we spent the day, again, jawboning about Hunter Biden, who has never held public office, and he's never done business with the government. And yet we have right in front of us, in front of our very eyes, mammoth corruption, unprecedented U.S. history by Donald Trump as president. And my friends don't say a single word about it. But
what is this hearing about? Oh, that's right. It's about this hearing's not about Donald Trump. But anyway,
he wants to lecture Mr. Parnas about the illegal donations he made on behalf of pro-Trump super PACs. I've noticed something interesting with the people who have finally disenthralled themselves and gotten out of the Trump cult, as Mr. Parnas puts it. People like Michael Cohen, Sarah Matthews, Cassidy Hutchinson, Alyssa Griffin. There's articles about them. There are dozens of those people.
About the case in hand.
I'd be fleeing for the exits now, too. What's so fascinating to me about it is that they don't mind when these people lie for Donald Trump. Then when they get out and start telling the truth, that's when they call them liars for what they did when they worked for Donald Trump.
Okay, so did you hear anything about the testimony in front of him during that? So a lot of people were posting that clip.
Yield to the ranking member for a brief closing statement.
Great, and I'll take an...
Okay, we already did that. So now we got Lev Parnas. Now, a lot of people in the left are excited about Lev Parnas, who testified. Now, Matt Gaetz says the Democrats could have sent anyone to refute the direct evidence of Joe and Hunter Biden corruption. Instead, they sent Lev Parnas, a man charged with enough campaign finance crimes to serve 50 years. Bob Alinsky exposed the Biden crime family today. Okay, here's Midas Touch is also a pro-Biden account. And so again, I said I'm going to show you what both sides thought were important. So this is some of Lev Parnas's testimony. Hello, you're a ridiculous lunatic. Good morning. So here's what they thought. Here's what the left thought was important at this hearing.
Honorable members of Congress, Chairman Comer, Ranking Member Raskin, and members of the Oversight Committee, I am humbled and thankful before you to show up before you today. I came to the United States from Odessa, Ukraine in 1976 when it was still the former Soviet Union. My mother and father and sister and I had left the Soviet Union, escaping anti-Semitism and persecution. While in Rome en route to Israel, my sister and I won the most important opportunity that we have ever been given. We won a U.S. green card lottery. My family came here with literally no more than shirts on our back in the hopes of rebuilding our lives in the land of freedom. I say this to you because I love this country. From shortly after my arrest on October 9, 2019 to now, I have been trying to share the irrefutable truth with you. The American people have been lied to by Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, and various cohorts of individuals in government and media positions.
Okay, now again, what does that have to do with this particular case? Does he ever get to it?
They created falsehoods to serve their own interests, knowing it would undermine the strength of our nation. From November 2018 to October 2019, I was a key participant and a witness to numerous efforts to prove that Joe and Hunter Biden were linked to corruption in Ukraine. Rudy Giuliani, on behalf of then President Donald Trump, tasked me with a mission to travel the globe, finding dirt on the Bidens so that an array of networks could spread misinformation about them, thus securing the 2020 election for Donald J. Trump.
Well, that didn't work out, now did it? Okay, all right, so that's another part. Let's see, here's another one. Ron Johnson was our guy in the Senate. Lev Parnas says Senator Ron Johnson was knowingly and actively pushing Russian disinformation. This has been corroborated by other sources. Really? Has it now? Has it now? So this is, they say, this is Lev Parnas.
About pushing disinformation. Authors of the Republican Burisma report would be your, quote, guy in the Senate to push all the information, end quote. What did you mean by that?
Senator Ron Johnson was our guy in the Senate. It was told to me that when we push the information, he's going to push it in the halls of Congress.
So when the media was getting skeptical about pushing disinformation after they've proven it wrong time and time again, the plan was to have a U.S. Senator, Ron Johnson, to push that disinformation even further.
Correct, because we had Congressman Nunes already doing it, so Senator Ron Johnson jumped on board.
This Congress, both Chairman Comer and Chairman Jordan, have centered this entire sham impeachment hearing on an FBI tip sheet. This tip sheet made wild claims about bribery that didn't even come close to being backed up. And in fact, it's all being proved to be one big lie. Mr. Parnas, is the allegation in the FBI...
Yes, AD. So what? Everyone does this, has someone in the House or Senate to push an issue. Right. There are specific people who, in both houses, on both parties, that if there's information that they get on a particular topic, they tend to be the front man for that particular topic. So the Ukrainian corruption was Ron Johnson's baby. Okay. So now Parnas is now saying that well, notice now how Parnas isn't saying that they're pushing misinformation. The congressman is saying that. Now, does Parnas agree with that? I don't know.
Tip sheet based on the same fabricated claims that Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani flew you to Ukraine to dig up.
Yes.
I also want to make it clear that the informant allegedly behind this tip sheet is facing criminal charges for lying about the Biden family and was a known fraud for years before that. The same fabricated claim kept popping up and getting smacked down over and over again. In fact, our colleagues at the Foreign Affairs Committee did some amazing work on this investigation and found that this lie dates back to December 2015, almost 10 years ago. Do you happen to know the article that I'm referring to?
I don't know the exact article, but I do know that the slide has started way back in 2015.
Started about 10 years ago. It was an article entitled, quote, "The Ukrainian Scam of the Biden Family," end quote. And it was posted to a Russian language media website registered in a city in Russian-occupied Crimea. Mr. Parnas, do you have any doubt that this fabrication claim, the claim that Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani sent you to Ukraine to try to dig up more information on, is part of Russian propaganda and an effort to destabilize Ukraine and undermine our democracy?
As I said here today, I have zero doubt that Russia's involved. This is a Russian campaign to interfere in our elections.
Now I'm curious, does he have evidence of that? Again, so interesting back and forth on this. Let's see. Jared Moskowitz also is trending who tried to say they should if you think this is real, then you should impeach him now. Let's see, where is it? Right here.
I think we should do it today. Let's just call for it. I'll make the motion, Mr. Chairman. I want to help you out. You can second it, right? Like, make the motion to impeach President Biden. Go ahead. It's your turn. You second it. No, nothing. Okay, we got nothing. So I want it with my last couple. I think we should do it today. Let's just call for it. I'll make the motion, Mr. Chairman. I want to help you out.
Now, again, it's an impeachment inquiry. They're deciding if they're going to call for his impeachment. So, and they got little clever tricks. All right, let's move on because I got to get through a lot more news today, and I only have about 15 minutes. So let's do this. Bill Barr is trending. Now, why is Bill Barr trending? Apparently, the left is trending. It's because of something happening on MSNBC, where if you strip away Bill Barr's corrupt interference and Trump's corrupt pardons, what you see is a crime syndicate masquerading as a government. Here are just some of the highlights, courtesy of Rachel Maddow. Don't know why that is. But people on the right are mad at Bill Barr because apparently there is something about, there is no, let's see. Here, Chicago Ray. Here, video from End Wokeness. Here's a lady caught stuffing ballots into a drop box live on CNN, but yet Bill Barr says there's no evidence of voter fraud in the 2020 election. And the effing reporter doesn't even ask her what the hell she's doing. Okay, those are all fucks, but I decided to change the words. Here's this one.
The only ballot drop box in Cuyahoga County, Ohio. You can see this woman right here casting her vote.
Casting her vote.
Jimmy Carter. Carter, okay. We want to get too personal.
Look, she's got about 15 or 20 of them in her hand. Oh, she's casting her vote, but they never asked her about it.
There's actually a traffic.
All right, that's interesting. Who knows why she has 15 or 20? Let's see. Why else is Bill Barr trending? This one says, raise your hand if you think Bill Barr is a fucking traitor when he said there's no evidence of voter fraud. Joe from Jersey, who's one of the Democrat shill people on X. So in their effort to besmirch President Biden, the Republicans have managed to reveal the fact that then AG Bill Barr actively covered up crimes he knew then President Trump was committing, and that Congressman Pete Sessions, then Congressman Devin Nunes, Senators Ron Johnson, Lindsey Graham, as well as John Solomon and Sean Hannity over at Fox, were all in on the plot to push a false narrative to deceive the American public ahead of the 2020 election. This hearing has been far more fruitful than anticipated. So they think that they've caught the Republicans in a nefarious plot of misinformation. Parnas, because Parnas says, I believe Bill Barr should be investigated for the cover-up and trying to silence me to get the truth out of what really happened in Ukraine. So that's because so he's trending because of Parnas' testimony also. And then finally, Jim Jordan is trending. Not so. In this hearing, let's see. Well, let's try this one. Let's just do a minute of Jim Jordan, then we're going to move on because I'm done with this.
The ranking member just said that quote, Joe Biden was opposed to corruption. Really? So opposed, he leveraged $1 billion of American tax money to fire the prosecutor in Ukraine who was investigating Zolochevsky at Burisma.
Oh my gosh,
the company Hunter Biden said on the.
They don't like, the Democrats didn't like that one. Yeah, see, that's still one of those that lingers, and they're saying, well, no, that had nothing to do with his son's business at all.
Board up. Wow. And the prosecutor who replaced Shokin, that Mr. Parnas referenced in his opening statement, Mr. Lutsenko, guess what he did? He took Zolochevsky off the wanted list and dropped the charges. Wow, he's really, really opposed to corruption there. Mr. Bobulinski, who's the big guy? Joe Biden. Are you sure about that? Because when
Joe Biden.
You sure?
I'm 1,000% sure.
Because when Hunter Biden did his deposition under oath, he said, I don't know who it is, even though he was copied on an email that said H will hold 10% for the big guy. You sure it's the big guy is Joe Biden?
1,000%. And there's other text messages that back that up, that the brave whistleblowers, Shapley and Ziegler, have produced, not from my phones, not from my BlackBerry that I took screenshots from. They took them from subpoenas directly from Apple's iCloud that back up the fact that Hunter knew the big guy was Joe Biden.
The big guy is the brand. The big guy is the lift. The big guy is the one who showed up at golf outings, who took phone calls and meetings and lunches and dinners with Hunter Biden and his business associates. Is that right?
Correct.
So So we got a case of a hearing with dueling narratives and everyone's bad guy according to everybody. And so there you go. That's what you get. All right, let's do Gun Fox's article real quick because I want to make sure I get this in before I go to the quick hits. The Supreme Court is also in the news. The Supreme Court grants Governor Greg Abbott's wish to turn Texas into a far-right dictatorship. This is from Salon. Now, there is an update to this, by the way, that is very important, but I'm going to read this article first because we told you the news that the Supreme Court said that Texas could continue enforcing their new law against illegal people entering the state illegally through the southern border until the process went through. Okay, so they said they're going to stay, so to speak, and allow them to do that until the lower court rules. Okay, so we talked about this yesterday. So here's Salon's take on it. Amanda Marcotte, one of the great locals from Salon.com, a very left-wing outlet. So here it is. In his 2022 majority opinion for Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health, Justice Samuel Alito took great pains to argue that allowing states to ban abortion was no slippery slope to gutting other human rights, claiming abortion is a unique act because of the potential life, thus making it different from other court establishment rights like birth control and same-sex marriage. Alito argued that Dobbs does not undermine the rights in any way. Roughly no one believed him at the time, in part because Republican protestations that they are pro-life are thin pretext for what is an authoritarian obsession with controlling people's sex lives. No. Now, I am, again, you know me, I'm pro-choice to a very limited point, but it does not in any way control people's sex life, okay? It makes you think about the consequences of your sex life, but your sex life, it does nothing, okay? It also didn't help that Justice Clarence Thomas used this concurrence in Dobbs to call for Republican lawmakers to go after other rights. Interesting way to put it. He argued that in future cases, we should consider all of this court's previous decisions legalizing contraception and homosexual sex, as well as the decision to permit same-sex marriage. So, yeah, Thomas mentioned those other things. Is this... Oh, this is not about that. This is not about that. Anyway, let's just go back. Let's just keep going, though, because I'm pretty sure that I'm going to blow a gasket on this, whatever he sent me. Now, even Alito's biggest skeptics underestimated how much Dobbs would be treated as an open invitation by the Supreme Court to red states strip away any human right you have. Yes, human right to end another human being's life is, I guess, what she's talking about. Anyway, just this past week, for instance, the Supreme Court refused to block two actions by the Texas government that should, by any measure, be serious violations of basic constitutional protections. Last week, the Supreme Court allowed West Texas A&M University to proceed with its ban of drag shows hosted by on-campus groups, even though the school's censorship violates decades of First Amendment precedents. This week, the Supreme Court did it again, allowing Texas to temporarily go forward with a clearly unconstitutional claim that state law supersedes federal jurisdiction when it comes to immigration. Oh, they are talking about this. This is the one I wanted to talk about. Neither decision constitutes the final word on... Now, this is the important line here because I said this yesterday. Neither decision constitutes the final word on whether Texas can flout the constitutional order so openly. What? To be clear, but even letting it get this far represents the Supreme Court's eagerness to bless Governor Greg Abbott's Republican of Texas in his quest to turn the state into a far-right dictatorship. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The drag showcase is the simpler of the two in terms of how obvious the violation of the First Amendment is. A student group at West Texas A&M wished to hold what lawyers described as a PG-13 performance, mostly of LGBTQ performers doing drag. The school's far-right president, Walter Wendler, canceled all drag shows on campus, regardless of content. Abbott's close ally, the infamously corrupt state attorney general Ken Paxton, has put the state government behind defending Wendler's blatant rejection of the free speech right of students. they might have a point on this, but I don't know. If they're not, they're canceled drag. Is a drag show on campus a free speech right? If they said you wouldn't be able to have it off campus, maybe. Anyway, both Wendler and Paskin are arguing in extreme bad faith. Wendler falsely accused drag performers of being misogynist and portraying women as objects. He has not, however, banned beauty pageants featuring cis women despite near identical content. No. Identical content? Seriously? A beauty pageant has the identical content as a drag show. I'm not sure about that, but I get the point here they're trying to make. And they're probably, first, if you're a first believer, you're probably right. Now, the fact that people want to have drag shows for children, I have a different take on that because I don't think you have a right to, do that kind of shit for kids. Anyway, Paxton claims drag must be banned to protect children. College students, as a reminder, are adults. And he has a point. They have a point. Even if children do attend with their parents, however, Paxton's argument is a stretch. Paxton is not backing a ban on beauty pageants or dance contests, which are equivalent level of sexual display as a drag show. No, they're not. Stop it. That's nonsense. But the point taken that these are adults, college students are adults, whatever. And look, I know drag shows are raunchy and whatever, but they're not children's entertainment. But I don't give a fuck if college students see a drag show. I just don't. Whatever. But anyway, so that they might have a point on this one. But the next one is the next one is one that is probably more concerning. The Supreme Court has not issued a final ruling on banning drag, but they did allow the current campus ban to take effect while the case proceeds. So they're not going to get into it until the case goes through. And I'm pretty sure that it'll probably get struck down if it goes to the Supreme Court, just because. Anyway, now this, as legal reporter Ian Millhauser of Vox wrote. Oh, Vox, that bastion of pure legal thought is outrageous, because it is such a clear case of free speech. By upholding the ban, even temporarily, Millhauser writes, students in North Texas are not allowed to exercise their First Amendment rights for an indefinite period of time. Maybe, if it's a public college campus, maybe they're right here. Okay. But remember yesterday, I said the fact that they were going to not rule on lift a stay on Texas with their immigration law. I said, once that gets to the Supreme Court or gets through the court system, it's probably going to get shut down, because that is absolutely the jurisdiction of the federal government. So let's go to the next one. The immigration decision is far more complex, but it amounts to the same thing. The Supreme Court refused to block, even temporarily, a Texas law that flagrantly violates the Constitution and court precedent. Abbott recently signed a law that gives state law enforcement the right to detain and even deport immigrants, even though all of the U.S. legal history puts the enforcement of immigration law solely in the hands of the federal government. That is correct. And I was curious about their decision in this. I said this yesterday. Abbott's law is so extreme. Abbott's law is so extreme, that even the most jaundiced observers of this far-right Supreme Court doubt they'll allow Texas to keep it. That is why it was a shock on Tuesday when the Supreme Court allowed the law to take effect while it's being argued in court. Legal expert Mark Joseph Stern combs through the dense legal maneuvers, and what it boils down to is this: Republican-appointed justices on both the Supreme Court and the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals know that the Texas law cannot pass constitutional muster, but they are partisan hacks who don't want to stop a Republican-run state from driving child migrants to drown to death. They actually put that in the article. From driving child migrants to drown to death. You know, they also threw the people in the wheelchairs coming across the border. They threw them in the deepest part of the river so that their wheelchairs would weight them down. And then they took the grandmothers and slit all their throats too. So there you go. And those evil Republicans are just so evil. So they've been playing procedural games, as Stearns explains, to shield Texas law from Supreme Court review indefinitely. To compound the horrors of the situation, the Texas law just doesn't target undocumented migrants, but anyone cops wish to harass. The Texas measure also allows state law enforcement officers to stop and detain anyone they suspect of having entered Texas unlawfully. Stern notes, do you have a Spanish last name, darker skin? Are the cops just bored and want to bully someone? All these can be reasons they suspect a person is undocumented, creating an excuse to hold them. Can I be detained because I'm brown, speak Spanish fluently, and look like someone who crossed into Texas illegally? Jorge Dominguez, a U.S. citizen who works as an immigration attorney in El Paso, said to the Washington Post. Oh, you said it to the Washington Post? Perfect. Not to get into the legal weeds, but there was enough wiggle room for an entirely different and apparently less radical group of Fifth Circuit judges to step in and injunct the law again. That's a relief, but doesn't change the basic outcomes of the situation. The Supreme Court was willing to let Texas start implementing a law they knew full well can't be defended, and were using shameless gamesmanship as a legal tool to do that. Worse, Republicans in other states are starting to feel confident that the court will eventually rule against the Constitution to grant states the right to do this. As the New York Times reports, Iowa passed a similar bill, and at least 6 red states considering following suit. Even if the drag ban and immigration law are eventually overturned, all this legal maneuvering sends a signal to Texas and red states. The Supreme Court is sympathetic to their white nationalist and theocratic impulses. Oh my God. Even when they can, by law, uphold the authoritarian yearnings of Republican state leaders, they will do everything they can to help those politicians grasp as much power as possible. This also suggests, as with Dobbs, that the court will stretch the definitions of constitutional to its breaking point to allow Republicans to attack basic human rights, which means we may be seeing states take up Thomas's invitation to revisit whether birth control or same-sex relations are human rights sooner rather than later. Well, that's an interesting way to put it. Here's an update. That's not it. Where'd my update go? Well, dang, blasted, damn it, doggone it. Where the hell is it? Here it is. So, and that's the case of where the Fifth Circuit blocks Texas immigration law after SCOTUS vacated the stay. The panel will hear arguments from Texas this morning as to why the law should go into effect as litigation continues. The 3-judge panel of the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled 2-1 to block a Texas immigration law hours after the Supreme Court refused to intervene. So again, the Supreme Court did not block it. They just said they were not going to intervene. They were going to allow the process to process. And that is what has happened. So the 3-judge panel of the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals have blocked the immigration law hours after the Supreme Court refused to intervene. The judges did not provide a reason for their ruling. Senate Bill 4 allows state law enforcement to arrest and detain illegal immigrants who cross the border outside legal ports of entry. The Supreme Court, with a 4-3 vote, that's decided to vacate the stay and return the lawsuit to the lower courts because they skipped a step. Merritt's briefing on Texas challenge to the district court's injunction of SB 4 is currently underway, wrote the justices. If a decision does not issue soon, the applicants may return to this court, which the judges made a decision the next day. Oh, see, so everything's fine in Mudville. The panel will hear Texas arguments on Wednesday morning and will decide whether to allow the law to go into effect as litigation continues. Circuit Judge Andrew Oldman dissented from the other two judges. He says the stay preserves the status quo while an appellate court reviews the lawfulness of that alteration, wrote Oldman. Earlier today, the Supreme Court of the United States restored an administrative stay under Federal Rule of Appellate Procedure 8. Oldman said he would leave that stay in place pending oral arguments on Wednesday. No matter what happens, though, the Fifth Circuit will continue hearing arguments about the constitutionality of the law for the next few weeks. So, as this, they tried to maneuver up the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said, no, let the lower court do their job. And the lower court did their job, and they're staying the Texas law, and they'll get to argue it before those courts. I personally believe that law is unfortunately, I've seen them try doing immigration stuff within states before, and it is absolutely the jurisdiction of the federal government, not the state governments, and so it's probably going to get struck down, is my opinion. All right, let's go through lightning round and get the hell out of Dodge. Kevin O'Leary blasts New York, forcing Trump to pay $154 million bond, which we've already seen this clip yesterday, but the news is catching up with me. Fani Willis still could be disqualified from the Trump case in the wake of the absurd ruling following the Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis to remain on the case against Donald Trump despite blatant conflicts of interest and apparent lying under oath. Judge Scott McAfee is allowing the former president to immediately appeal the ruling. There we go. On Wednesday, Judge Scott McAfee granted the certificate of immediate review Trump and 8 of his co-defendants requested in the racketeering case. It is anticipated that they will petition the Georgia Court of Appeals to consider the disqualification battle prior to the commencement of the trial. So the Trump team and all the other people involved appealed or are appealing it. Judge McAfee says, okay, well, we'll wait until that's done. Certificate of immediate review. This is highly significant, Steve Sadow, Trump's lead Georgia attorney, said in a statement. It means the defense is permitted to apply to the Georgia Court of Appeals for pretrial review of the judge's order refusing to dismiss the case or disqualify Fulton County DA Fani Willis. The defense is optimistic that the appellate review will lead to the case being dismissed and the DA being disqualified. Well, I don't know about it being dismissed, but the idea that it could be she could be disqualified, that would be devastating to their case too, because if she is disqualified, her entire office is disqualified. So they'd have to start over with someone completely different because Nathan Wade has already been removed from the case and so on and so forth. So now it says, though, despite the ruling, the case will continue in court. Now, this is interesting. The ruling was that Sadow put right for review. In its order, the court found that District Attorney Willis actually created an appearance of impropriety and an odor of mendacity that lingers in this case, as well as the continuing possibility that an outsider could reasonably think that District Attorney Willis is not exercising her independent professional judgment, totally free of any compromising influence. The defendant's motion reads, despite this, the court decided to disqualify the courts declined to disqualify District Attorney Willis, finding that eliminating only the special district attorney would cure the lingering appearance of impropriety. Well, not really, because she's already profited from it. So anyway, there you go. In Issues and Insight, voters split on whether charges against Trump are warranted based on an Issue and Insight's poll. 47% believe legal actions against Trump are warranted. 38% believe otherwise. Most Republicans say Trump charges are unfair. Shocker. So if you want to read up more on that poll, in Breitbart, James Carville says Biden should let circus do the wet work against Trump. Now, if you're not familiar with the term wet work, he might have had a better choice of words. Democratic strategist James Carville said Wednesday on CNN Anderson Cooper 360 on This is CNN that President Joe Biden should let circuits do wet work against the former President Donald Trump using a euphemism for spilling blood during murder. You know, they'd love to make those murder references for this former president, but boy, oh boy, if you say something like that about Joe Biden, oh boy, baby, you're in trouble. More on that in the article. You can read it yourself because I'm putting these links in the chat at the end of the show. TikTok fanatic threatens a U.S. senator over the bill to force the sale of the app. I will find and end you. Warning, this contains violent language. So this is a voicemail that Senator Tom Tillis got. I think he's from North Carolina. Let's see. We'll put a separate link for this one. So Senator Tom Tillis says, this is a voicemail my office received last night. TikTok's misinformation campaign is pushing people to call members of Congress, and callers like this who communicate threats against elected officials could be committing a federal crime. The Communist Chinese aligned company is proving just how dangerous their current ownership is. Great work, TikTok. I'm not going to play it, but you can find that link. In Breitbart, charges dropped against the Gold Star father who interrupted Biden's State of the Union. Yeah, they came to their senses. What's his name? Steve Nikui, father of late Marine Lance Corporal Kareem M. Nikui, was confirmed Tuesday that they will not prosecute him. So he had a heated moment, and because they know better. The optics of that, boy, those optics would not be good. Also, Breitbart, Representative Dan Goldman, shitbag from wherever he's from in New York, said the House is conspiring with Russia to interfere in our elections on behalf of Trump.
Your life makes me sad.
In legal insurrection, the Fifth Circuit blocks Texas immigration law. I've already read that. Why is that on this part? Because I already went through this one. So we already talked about that one. Also, apparently, Trump demolishes Biden for lying about Senate immigration plan. It would have exacerbated the problem. We talked about this. The plan that they came up with on the Senate with Langford and all them idiots. All it would have done was made the processing of these people much faster, and in theory, but how many actually show up for their post, leg ankle bracelet hearings? That's what I'm just saying. So you can read about that on your own. I'm not going through it. And apparently a black Biden voter rails against migrant crisis before show host calls her out for voting blue. What is this? Let's see.
1980, which of course should have been changed a long time ago. So they bring them in. You wonder where the money coming from? They taking it. The COVID fund that was here, that money. Yep. You talking about all the housing programs. So when people pay rent, all the rental programs, that money, all the programs that we have in the city of Chicago, they are bankrupting us. They are taking from all of these programs that we have, and they're taking the money and they're funding the migrants. Yeah. Our taxpayers, we've already paid $32 million out of our taxes to house and take care of the migrants thus far. Now, we already know the only ones who qualify to become citizens in asylum here from the starts of if they were here after August, they don't even qualify. But here we're going to be taking care of them for 5 to 7 years while there's paperwork floating on people's desk. And why? Send them home. Send them back. But Venezuela already said, we're not taking them back.
Well,
so now,
listen to the question. Listen to the question.
Who did you vote for?
First of all, I have no problem with saying that I did vote for Biden because I was not voting. Okay. I did.
Okay,
but here it is.
Hold on. That was the question. Okay. Now you answered it, right?
Okay.
This migrant influx that we're dealing with right now, this is your fault.
Uh-oh. Okay,
well, snap!
First of all, it is. First of all, let me say.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Okay, so there you go. That's what that one's about. All right, moving on.
Senator Blackburn.
No. Stop.
Thank you, Mr.
The article's there. All right. Daily Wire, 200,000 deportation cases were dismissed because the Biden administration failed to file the paperwork. Good morning, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
You know what? This is going to be an ongoing as long as this administration's here. Illegal immigrants effectively left in limbo without any way to pursue asylum, says nonpartisan data analytics group. So they failed to file the paperwork for hundreds of thousands of deportation cases, which were, as a result, tossed by judges. So the 200,000 people they probably could have deported, and they haven't done it because they didn't file the paperwork. Welcome to Keystone Cops Biden style. All right. In PJ Media, also, illegal alien released on gun charges shoots a trans illegal alien. Authorities helpless. Oh no. This illegal alien shot a trans person. That is the story. What does it take for the Biden administration to deport an illegal alien? If this were a speech instead of a column, this is where there would be a little parenthetical note instructing me to pause for laughter, to pause for your bitter, bitter laughter. So this is the guy that was this in Illinois? This had to be in Illinois. Was this the one where they? Illegal weapons possessions? No way, Jose. An Obama-appointed judge ruled this month that illegals can carry guns. The non-citizen possession statute violates the Second Amendment as applied to Carabal Flores because Judge Sharon Coleman finally found the penumbra emanating from the Second Amendment that she liked. Involved in the killing of a cop. I know this kind of things happens very often. A Guatemalan legal was let go after being declared incompetent to face charges, partly due to the language barrier. Oh my God, I remember that one. Anyway, early one mild morning last month, a transgender woman who was recently migrated from Venezuela was waiting for a ride outside a Little Village nightclub when a driver pulled up and made an ominous remark in Spanish. Bad gay, he allegedly said, before firing 3 shots at the woman around 4:30 a.m. on February 4th. She was stuck in the groin and both legs left in critical condition, according to Chicago police records. The suspect was a Venezuelan man, unnamed in various reports, linked by federal authorities to Venezuela's El Tren de Aragua drug and sex trafficking cartel. While he has been identified as the gunman, police had recovered key evidence, according to the Chicago Sun-Times, including a shell casing and a video of the Ford Explorer used in the attack. Cook County prosecutors wouldn't bring charges. The police explained that their one witness who can positively identify the gunman will not cooperate any further. Well, now the Biden administration is in a huge dilemma. Are they going to deport someone who shot a trans? I mean, think of all the lights and spinning and calculations are going in their head. Okay, so an illegal immigrant with a gun shot another illegal immigrant who is trans, and oh my God, they have no idea what to do. PJ Media, Let's Play Chicken, the battle against woke Tyson's food is gone. Remember, Tyson said they want to hire 42,000 illegal immigrants, so now people are maybe going after. I don't know if they're going to boycott Tyson, but it's pretty hard to boycott Tyson. I mean, almost every chicken, wherever you get it in America, comes from this company pretty much. Also, just an article on how illegals are breaking the bank in Denver. They're spending so much money on this right now. It's like Chicago and Brooklyn and everywhere else where they're overflowing. They're spending a shit ton of money on illegal immigrants. Illegal border crossers, people who cross our border illegally. And so Denver's feeling the pinch also. And MRC TV, Mexico decides discrimination and racism as the reason they're going to reject any deportees from Texas back into their country. Because of racism, they're not going to allow the people who crossed our border illegally back into Mexico. Well, hardly any of them are Mexican anyway. You got to fly them to Guatemala and China and India and fucking somewhere in the Middle East, wherever they're from, because Haiti and wherever. Holy shit! We're in fucking clown world. We're in clown world. Daily Wire: Biden finally finalizes a plan to kill off gas cars in the U.S. So the auto injuries. You know what? Maybe the United Auto Workers leadership is solidly behind Joe Biden, but there's a couple articles here with Biden's electric car mandate that is going to kill so many jobs in the United States that it's going to be a bloodbath. And then Trump vows to reverse Biden's new extreme electric car vehicle mandate. So the auto workers are like, well, look, the rank and file auto workers probably are like, hey, you voting for Trump? What? Are you voting for Trump? Is that a trick question? Nah, man. Are you voting for Trump? Yeah. My man. That's what's going on among the rank and file auto workers. I see it at UPS. Our union is solidly solidly Biden supporting. But you walk around to people talking in the, as they're working and whatnot. No. It's funny. All right, Biden administration trots out Al Gore's son to hype the EPA's electric vehicle mandate. I want all these motherfuckers to go stand in front of the United Auto Workers and say this shit. Okay? He was at some in Washington, D.C., this is Al Gore's son, touting the electric vehicle mandate. You know the auto workers are saying, you motherfucker, shut the fuck up. And so there's several articles on that. Anyway, also in the PJ Media, anti-meat, California researchers push ants as delicious food. We know they want you to eat the bugs, right? MRC-TV. Oh, ESG bully BlackRock hypocritically attacks Texas over $8.5 billion in divestment. Texas is divesting from BlackRock because of their ESG policies. Now, that's this supposedly responsible investing and whatever and green shit, whatever. And Texas says, fuck it. We're backing out of that shit. And now BlackRock wants to bully Texas because BlackRock probably has more assets than Texas. And Daily Caller, not a gun expert, Biden judicial nominee self-destructs when John Kennedy asks her to define an assault weapon. Well, that happens almost every time. Now, I have about 8 or 10 more articles I got to do, but I'm not going to even tell you what they are. You just got to check the links that I drop into the tab or in the chat because I got to go. I'm out of time, man. So look, y'all, thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. We got to half our goal today. That's the best one so far. So thank you, Gunfox and Avocados Diablo, for sponsoring the show. You are awesome. That's it. I'm done. I'll be back tomorrow for the Friday show. Lady Boomer's out of town, so I might even do an afternoon show here or there or something. I might do something extra special because, I can't hang out with Lady Boomer. I might as well hang out with you, right? We'll see what happens in the afternoon or tomorrow, or maybe I'll just make a bunch of videos that I can put out. Anyway, just pay attention to what happens. Also, I'm going to send a community tab, whatever requests. I want to know what kind of perks there should be for being a member of this channel. And tomorrow is Q&A day. So how about some questions from, obviously AD is very prolific with the questions, but maybe if some of the rest of you have some questions, you could throw some in too. We'll just think about that for tomorrow. That's it, though. I have to leave. Again, thanks. Gotta go. My name is P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye. Bye. Here come the links in the chat. Watch. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.